Greetings, everybody, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host today, Super Maximilian, MH Productions, or Super Maximilian, also known as MH Productions. And today I have another video for you. Let me stop acting like a What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. So as you guys already know, I have another review for y'all. Episode 5 came out for Ahsoka, y'all, and let me tell you, this episode was absolutely hype. I was hoping for the best, and I got the best. That's what I'm saying to you right off the rip. And I'm excited to talk about this episode. So let's just jump right on into it. Let's go. Yeah, so we're in the water, or we're in the what do they call it? The land in between, where I guess you can talk or commune with the your spiritual past or something like that, I guess. I'm terrible with wording, but I'm gonna try to get the idea in your head. So it's like the land in between. So it's like, I guess, when you're supposed to die, there is, or no, not when you're supposed to die. So let's try this again. So when you have the land in between, is basically a space where I'm sure if you're in a calm enough state, or when you're meditating, you can speak to like Jedi spirits or formal Jedi spirits and things of that nature. So that's what was happening when the ending of episode 4, she had got knocked off and she got knocked out to the point where she's just in the water, I guess, just in this calm state. And she was able to commune, and she was able to see Anakin, her teacher. So yeah, this episode, we go and they are having this conversation like, oh, I didn't think that it was time for you to, go and whatnot. And Anakin is basically like giving, in this situation, his last lesson to Ahsoka, or another lesson to Ahsoka. I don't know if I should say last, because I don't know if he's going to appear again, but in my eyes, I see it as a last lesson to Ahsoka, because I don't think he ever necessarily got to finish her training per se. But yeah, it was the visuals, like I don't know what they did, but they made Hayden Christian look absolutely amazing, and they paid the best respect and homage to the Anakin Skywalker character from movies 1, 2, and 3, and just continuing on as Darth Vader. There were these constant montages of us going back to the Clone Wars, where Anakin was young and was a kid, and then growing into a young adult, and just standing by Anakin's side on the battlefield, and he's teaching her the important lesson of like, when you're in war, you don't, it's either you do or you don't. It's either you do the deed or you get killed. So, yeah, so it was very awesome getting to go back into that time of the Clone Wars, which we all know to be animated, but we got to see that little section with Anakin and Ahsoka, like live action made. And honestly, from the way that they portrayed it, even though a lot of it, like, you couldn't necessarily see the background, because of course it's like it's just supposed to be a little a sentiment moment between the two characters, so they're not really focused on the background and stuff like that. But for the most part, yeah, we get to see the clones, we got to see Commander Rex. That was awesome. But yeah, they blurred the background with just like this dusty hue almost, so yeah, you couldn't really make out a lot of it. But for the most part, it was awesome. It really was awesome going back to that and just seeing General Skywalker. Like, that was awesome. That made me nerd out a little bit, I'm not gonna lie. Well, a lot of it, because here I am talking about it, right? But yeah, oh my god, it was so good. And it was, they had a little fight, Ahsoka and Anakin, and within that fight, Anakin was going or bouncing between Skywalker and Darth Vader, and that was so hot. It was so awesome. They did that so good, and it was just like a lesson. Like, are you gonna sit down, lay down, and just call it, or are you gonna fight for your life and, like, choose to live and do the right thing and whatnot, be one with the Force, and just, yeah, do what you gotta do. And oh my gosh, it was so good. It was so good. And yeah, that's exactly what she chose. She chose to live. So she had to fight. You see, he was, well, because yeah, like I feel like in that moment where he kept going between Anakin Skywalker and Darth Vader, it showed that he knew that he was both Anakin and Darth Vader, and he was using both of those personalities to help train Ahsoka to yeah, make her a stronger, I don't even know if I should call her Jedi, but just to make her a stronger version of herself, really. And it was just so well done. And honestly, if I was to get, I mean, of course, I know I'm reaching and I'm asking for a lot, but if we were to get a live action version of Hayden Christian in the Clone Wars era in a live action form, I honestly would not mind. It doesn't even need to be a TV show. It could be like a nice little short or something like that, almost like Werewolf by Night or something. Just a little something in between, because that it was just that good, honestly. But yeah, they built up the character. And also, fun fact, the kid version of Ahsoka that was played in the episode is also played by the same kid that played as Kid Gamora at the end of Infinity War, where Thanos was talking to little Gamora and she was asking like, "Oh, did you do it? How much did it cost? Or what did it cost?" And he was like, "Everything," and stuff like that. I'm gonna find out her name, um, and so I can actually tell you her name. So her name is Ariana Greenbelt. I hope I said that right. Ariana Greenbelt. So she portrayed Kid Ahsoka so good. Like, I don't, she understood the character, or she understood the assignment. That's what I can say. And then even from her moves with the lightsaber, her blue lightsaber and stuff, she's like, I don't know, they trained her to take on that role very, very well. And she just took on that role absolutely well, 100%. So, yeah, honestly, I really have no gripe with the episode, but I really don't. This episode was just perfect, really. But moving on, so she chose to live, so she defeated Anakin slash Darth Vader, and then since she was floating in the water, I guess reality was coming back to her, so the whole entire land in between started filling up with water, and then she's just floating in the ocean. And then Hera and her kid, who I think is force sensitive. I think Hera's kid is force sensitive. Well, it would make sense because Hera's kid is, his father was a Jedi. I forgot his name. Oh my gosh. I'm terrible. I'm sorry. I forgot his name. What is his name? Kanan Jarrus. Oh my gosh. I was like trying to look it up, and I don't know why it didn't look anything like him. I guess he was blind. Ooh, I don't know. I'm sorry, but it's Kanan Jarrus. Kanan Jarrus is the father of the kid, so I would believe that he's force sensitive because he's like listening out to the ocean. He's like, "You don't hear that?" And then Hera's like trying to understand what he's talking about. She doesn't hear what he's hearing, and he's like, "You don't hear the fighting, the lightsabers?" And I think Hera's kid allowed her to hear what he was hearing. So then they all heard the lightsabers go on. And then they went out searching for him, and then they found Ahsoka just floating in the ocean, which I don't know how they found her, because those waters was rough, and I was just like, okay, I guess they found her. Cool. But yep. Then this was the part that kind of like was very iffy to me, but I kind of just went with it because I'm like, this is sci-fi and space and all that, so you can get anything really. But Ahsoka, of course, she's getting back on her feet and getting things together. And of course, they understood that they, Balon and that crew, got the power to traverse galaxies with that hyperspace ring through the whales. So Ahsoka's idea was to kind of communicate with the whales to get them to take them where they were going. Or I believe that they were already, what was it called? It was called the migration. The whales were already going to go in that direction anyway and traverse across space with their hyperdrive tentacles and whatnot. The whales have hyperdrive tentacles. Yeah, they have hyperdrive tentacles, and Ahsoka convinced the biggest whale there to put their ship into its mouth so that they could travel the galaxy in their mouth. See, do you get why I could almost get taken out just a little bit? Because it's like, well, really? That's very, very convenient. But at the same time, I was like, okay, that is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie, because that whole entire sequence and that it was just well put together. Like in my mind, I'm like, this really it did just depend for me if they did it good or not. And honestly, the way I feel like they portrayed that scene with Ahsoka communing with the whale, it was just well done. It just showed that she was very in tune with the Force. She has this new light garb on instead of the dark garb that she had on from the beginning of the show. And I believe there's like 3 or so episodes left from what I believe. And honestly, I could see why. I heard also that this episode had a theatrical release in certain areas, and honestly, I could see why. It was definitely a very fun episode. And honestly, the lightsaber fights that we are getting in this show is just, I love it. I love it so much. I missed getting genuine lightsaber battles like this. And it seemed, honestly, with the way Hayden Christian was moving, Anakin was moving, it's like he still got it. Oh my gosh, he still has that mobility and just that fast pace movement with the lightsaber. Like you could just feel that, and it was really well done. But yep, so they got in the mouth. Hera and her little crew with the starfighters, they're still there, and which also didn't make any sense. The people for the Republic showed up because there was no mission. They're like, oh, Hera, we told you that not to take resources and go over here, and you did it anyway. So now we pull up with the squad. I'm like, so why would you pull up with the squad if supposedly you weren't going to do that to begin with? So yeah. So then Hera, they're trying to stall the Republic to get Ahsoka to talk to the whales so they can go where they gotta go. And then they're traveling out off the planet. And Hera's like, okay, they finally did what they need to do, and we just need to get out of their way. And yep, they went in hyperspace in the whale's mouth, and that was the end of the episode. But I absolutely 100% love this episode. It was so good. It really was so good. But I feel like you guys can already guess my rating for this episode, and my rating for this episode is going to definitely be a 10 out of 10. If y'all have not started watching Ahsoka, oh my God, I would dare say that you should definitely give it a shot and watch it, because it's faring to be an event. It's actually a very fun event. Well, for those that understand, characters and whatnot. So if you are into the Star Wars universe and you were very hesitant on watching Ahsoka, honestly, I would suggest that you give it a watch. It's very fun. So yeah, that's about it for y'all guys. That's all I have to say about the episode. Really fun, really enjoyed it, and I can't wait for Tuesday to watch the next episode. So thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already so you can get notified anytime that I upload a video to the channel. Thank you guys for your continuous support and watching the videos. And yeah, until next time, I will see you guys in the next video.